I get asked all the time about how do I draw a ballpoint pen. And the first thing I really tell people is my technique and hand pressure. So this video is going to be about hand pressure and the control you apply to the paper. I'm not going to waste your time anymore, so let's get to it. So this is going to be a very short video of how I control my hand, how I use hand pressure to create these amazing drawings. So first, what I like to do is warm up my pen by rubbing it on the piece of paper first, just to get the ink out. The first thing I want to cover is my techniques. I like to use hatching and cross-hatching. Hatching is going one direction with parallel lines right next to each other. And cross-hatching is doing the same thing with the parallel lines. But once you get the first layer down, you go across those lines perpendicular or whatever angle you want to go at, and you overlap those initial lines with more lines. That's really all I do when it comes to my ballpoint pen drawings. It's all about lines. Now let's move on to hand pressure. In order to control how dark or light you want your lines, it really depends on how much pressure you apply. For example, if I use this hatching technique, you can see I'm pressing down very, very hard with the ballpoint pen, and you get these dark lines. I'm gonna hatch very lightly, as light as possible. You see that? So there's a big difference between the darkness and lightness of the line. And not just that, also the thinness. So like the more pressure you apply, the thicker the line, and the less pressure you apply, the thinner the line. So yeah, that's basically it. That's how I control my pressure. Over time, this will become muscle memory to you. For example, when I draw portraits with ballpoint pen, I don't even think about how much pressure I'm applying, how light my hand is. It just becomes like a very strong habit for me. So I don't have to worry about every single line I put down on the paper. When you first start off, that's what you do, and that's what I did as well. And I worry about every single line I put down on the paper. Just using hatching, I'm able to create like a consistent value with these lines. And now they're not so much separated, it's just layer on top of layer. So if we have a circle, like right here, this is a terrible circle, but you get the idea. And then this is where the shadow falls. So the light is coming in from this way, and then the shadow falls. The cast shadow is on the floor, and then there's the shadow around the ball like that. Usually this middle part would be the darkest part of the shadow, and this part right here would be dark as well. I'm gonna do one layer of hatching on the shadow right here. And then I'm gonna do one layer on this side. Now, how do I elevate this drawing? I'm going to add more layers, just like I did right here. And I'm not going to fully render this sphere as much as I want to. I just want to give you guys like a general idea of how it's supposed to be done, or how I do it. And then I'm gonna go into this part of the shadow that's supposed to be dark or darker. And I know it's sloppy, but hopefully you guys can I know it's sloppy, but hopefully you can see the idea I'm trying to portray. A way to make this sphere look a little bit better is to do a dark line right behind the shadow. And it really helps give it that form, like that. And obviously the cast shadow is going to be really dark as well, but you don't really need to worry about that right now. Hopefully this will help you along your journey of drawing. And that's basically the idea to it. And if you go one more step further, you can practice your light pressure with this side where the light is hitting. Maybe I should have drawn the beams coming from this way. But yeah, so since this is the light side, you can lightly do like one layer of hatching just to give it more dimension. And you can always go over it too, just wherever you see fit. Over time, you will have a better understanding of shadows. So yeah, that's my quick lesson on hatching and how much pressure to apply to the paper. I will be making similar videos to this in the future. And if you have any more questions or you want me to go over a specific subject or a specific technique, let me know and I'll make a video on it. Thank you.